Today we're going to be talking about mindset mistakes that early commercial cleaning operators make and how we can avoid those. As always, my name is Peter Boland and I've closed over $50 million of commercial cleaning contracts, and I'm just here to tell you what's working for us. Now, I'm only sitting here telling you these things because I made some of them exact mistakes, other of them are more broad mistakes that I made. But it's something that I notice when I'm coaching every single other person, that they're making the same mistakes, or at least they're using the same language that's going to create the same mistakes that they have. So we're gonna go over it today, and hopefully this is gonna help you avoid the pitfalls that most companies run into so you can move faster and make more money. So the first one is banking your money before you've actually started the client. When I talk to small companies, what they'll say is, yeah, we're currently doing about $10,000, $20,000 a month in revenue, but I've just done 3 or 4 walkthroughs and they're a total about $4,000. So within a month or two, we should be doing about 14 grand. So they don't even have a contract signed yet. They've just simply been on a walkthrough and they're assuming that that money is going to be coming into their bank account and their company, and then they're already mentally planning what they're going to do with that money. But it's not part of your company until you start cleaning it. So you don't get any money from it. And I used to do this all the time. I go on a walkthrough and then I calculate how much money I could make from it and then where that money's going to go so I could increase growth. But in reality, all the time I was doing that was completely and utterly just a loss of focus for what I should have been doing, which is going and knocking doors, cold calling, and just getting more leads. Any work you do, time you spend thinking, planning, that's not actually doing the main thing to move you forward, which is getting you leads, deals, hiring the right cleaners, putting them in, training them, replacing yourself, is just a complete and utter waste of time. It's you just fantasizing about where you're going to be versus doing the actual work, which is what's going to move you forward. Second thing is they don't repeat successful actions. And what I mean by they don't repeat successful actions is they will go do a walkthrough in a building. They will get a client. Maybe they got the walkthrough from door knocking. And then the second they get the client, they stop doing any and all door knocking. And then what they start doing is setting up the cleaner or going and cleaning the building, checking on the building, getting supplies for it. And then they completely stop doing what got them the contract. So their company starts going up and down. Oh, I got 5 contracts next month. I got 0. The month after, I got 3 contracts. And you're constantly stopping and starting. And I have done this so many times at the beginning where we get a whole bunch of clients and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go train them and and set everything up. When what I should have done is had somebody else go do all that stuff so I could continuously be out getting new clients. Or because we set everything up after hours or cleanings after hours, I should have just worked double shifts. And that's what I started doing. I would work all day selling, and then at night I would set everything up, and then I would go to bed, sleep 6 to 8 hours, get up and just do the exact same thing all over again. So I was working 2 shifts with it. And that's one really great thing about the cleaning business is majority of the work that you do gets done after hours. And that's what you get paid on. So during the day, you have all the time in the world to sell, market, go see clients, get referrals, whatever you need to do to grow your business. So just to reiterate, if you found a way to get clients, never stop doing that way of getting clients. Continuously do it until you have enough money to pay somebody to either do that for you or train everybody else afterwards. So do it during the day. At night, you're going to sit back and you're just going to go get them cleaning and inspect the buildings. Third one on here is they completely and utterly underestimate the amount of efforts it takes to grow, to service a client, to do anything. It's an underestimation of effort that constantly comes back and kicks them in the butt. When I start telling people about door knocking, they'll usually say, oh yeah, I've done it. I haven't really got a lot from it. And the first question I always ask is, how many have you done? And they will tell me, well, I did 5 last Tuesday. I did 7 yesterday. So like, I think I've done 30 overall. But A, you haven't even done enough to be good at it. B, you're underestimating the sheer amount of effort it takes, not only get good at it, but to actually get a client. Like I will do hundreds of door knocks. In a day where I cold call into a city and do estimates, if I'm doing 3 or 4 estimates in that day, I will knock just that day 25, 30 buildings. And I would do that every day, 5 days a week for years. So in 2 weeks, I'm at 300 buildings, and you think you're gonna be able to beat me with 20 buildings in 2 months? You're not. The amount of effort it takes to find the right cleaner by going through all the resumes, having tons of interviews every day to find the right one, until you build an avatar so you know what you're looking for, takes forever. They think that they can just go into the marketplace, get business, have a $5 million company, find the best cleaners in a very, very short time. And it always takes longer and costs more than you ever think it will. So the easiest way to do it is to just, at the beginning, not set a timeline of when you want to get this done. Set like little daily targets. All right, I'm going to go knock 20 doors today. And it's not like, oh, in 2 months, I'm going to get $5,000 from door knocking. You don't even know the variables of what it takes to get $2,000. It's, I'm going to do 20 door knocks today. I'm going to track every single thing they say and repeat stuff that they say to me. I'm then going to come back, create objections to get over it, and then I'm going to go do it again the next day. And you're just going to do 20 every single day until you get there. It is one of the biggest reasons why people fail and they give up. It's because they think something is easier than it is. When it gets hard, they think that what they're trying to do is the problem and that the market is too saturated. They blame these external sources as to why they couldn't do it, instead of just really understanding that they don't know how to properly estimate efforts. It is an expectation issue. You think it's going to be easier than it is, and it's not. And you're not seeing reality clear enough. Number 4 is essentially you prostitute yourself for money. Because you're a new company, you think a business is something that makes money. So what you do is you will do any or anything within a cleaning aspect for money. And I made this mistake tons of times. I would go out, find a way to get contracts, get money from it, and then somebody would offer me like window cleaning. I would no clue how to do it. It would take me forever to do it correctly. I'd waste half a day doing that for like $150. And then I would figure out how to do it poorly. And then I would go back to door knocking, and then a client would be like, hey, do you do stripping and waxing? And I would go figure out how to do that. And that would take me days to figure out. I would make mistakes on it. And I did anything for money. But the truth is, by going after money and even just one-time cleanings, what it did is kept my business really, really small for a long time. It's why it took us like years. It's why it took us like 4 or 5 years to get to $1 million. And it's because I was doing every single thing else that wasn't the main thing, which is I knew how to door knock, cold call, get walkthroughs, turn those walkthroughs into clients, and then how to put cleaners in and clean them. I should have done nothing that wasn't that at all, because that's where the real money was, in recurring revenue that lasted a long time, instead of a one-time hit of $1,000 for a strip and wax job that I then had to order the supplies, take everything there to, find a guy to do it with me, which wouldn't just take me the 5 hours of doing the job. It would take me another half a day to a day to get everything sorted and picked up, when I could have just gone out, door knocked, and got a client that paid me $12,000 that month. So I did all these little things for extra money because that's what I thought a business does. Is I'm a full service cleaning company that can do anything, but the real money was in my contracts that I got to keep for 2.5 years. So once I fixed that and I got rid of every other service, like we do 0 other services other than commercial cleaning. If a client asks for it, we'll do it. But we work with vendors in cities that know how to do the job, and then we just take a cut of it. And all we do now is we phone them, they go out, they do the quote, they give it to us, we mark it up by a percentage, send it to the client, and then they take care of the job, and we don't even need to think about it. And all of our attention now just goes towards getting more contracts. Which, because we do that, now we have a whole bunch of clients asking for extra service, and we probably make an extra 5-10 grand, depending on the month, for those extra services and we do nothing for it. And the other thing, it creates very, very low operational drag on us. For us, it's just making a couple phone calls and it gets done, and then a follow-up afterwards. So we don't need to have this whole other department that goes out and does these things. Now, if you want to be a full service company where you do all these things, it's totally fine to do it. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying if you want to grow as quick as humanly possible in your company, the growth comes from reoccurring revenue from contract cleaning. That's where the growth comes. You get a $5,000 contract, you get it every single month for a year. That adds $60,000 to your business that year. A one-time strip and wax is a one-time thing that you're going to get, and it's not going to overly increase your company to where you want it to be. Number 5 is you try to clean every single building that you get because you want to make money. And I understand it because I did this at the beginning. I was broke. I had nothing. I get a $2,000 contract and I'd be like, well, if I just clean it, I get $2,000. They think that if they get a $2,000 contract and they clean it, they're going to make $2,000, which then they can put towards their bills and everything else, mortgage, whatever it is. But the reality is, if you put a cleaner in there for $1,000 and you make $1,000, then you use that extra time to go get another $1,000 contract or a $2,000 contract, and then you make the same amount of money again. And then you have the same amount of money you're making, except you have more clients. So if one cancels, you're not totally reliant on one client, and you get to go back to doing what generated you the client in the first place, which is selling, walkthroughs, and all these things. The next one is small think. And I still do it sometimes. It just comes in and it crushes you. And every time I've thought really, really small, it's always come back to just bite me later on. And what thinking small is, thinking with the mindset of just enough. And what I mean by just enough is at least how I did it at the beginning. Before I started my cleaning company, I was making like $100+ a year running call centers. And my mentality when I went into it was, if I could just make $100,000 a year here, I'd be happy, because that's what I was making before. And then you do all this work, you get there, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm really satisfied with being here. This is exactly what I wanted. And then you stop doing all the things that got you to the $100,000 and you're just managing contracts. And then life comes in and absolutely decimates you. Maybe you get a government audit. For me, what happened was my son got extremely sick and had to get taken into a children's hospital, and my wife at the time had to go stay with him. And then she wasn't working, and then we were having problems with bills. It was this moment in my life where it hit me that I don't know what life is going to throw at me. And I don't know how much money I'm going to really need to live comfortably, long-term, retire. And I never wanted to put my family at risk. So I vowed to never let small think and the attitude of just enough get me again. And the truth is, it's happened to me multiple times. It happened to me when I was making like $1 million a year, where I was like, I'll never need more money than this. And magically something happens where you need far, far more money than that. And every time I have sat back and just rested and been like, finally, I'm here. Something has happened in my life that has come and absolutely taught me the lesson that you should never, ever think small, and you are never going to know how much money you're going to need in the future when something happens. If you have something happen to a loved one, and you have just been thinking with just enough, and you can't afford to take care of that loved one now because you've been coasting, it is a crushing experience in life. And I hope nobody has to go through it. So please just take my advice on this one and don't think with just enough. Think with the mindset of abundance. You want to make so much money that you never need to worry about it. And I have been very fortunate in doing this to the point where we have somebody full-time that comes in, cleans, takes care of my kids for me, goes out, washes my car, gets the groceries, so I can have more time to do whatever I want, right? I've been able to take care of family members. I've been able to take care of myself, donate money to other charities and causes that I want, all because I have an abundance mindset where I want to be able to take care of other people. And the only way to do that, I know how at least, is to ensure that I am financially insulated enough to the point where I can take care of the people that are the most important to me. So do not think with a mindset of just enough, because trust me, there will be a time in your life where everything comes crashing down and you need the money and you need the skill sets that you would have learned from building your company. Last one is you use feeling to guide your judgment instead of KPIs and logic, okay? And this is a huge one that most people do at the beginning, and it always bites them in the butt. They hire based on feeling. They promote based on feeling. They get a complaint and they terminate a client based on their feeling, instead of looking at the numbers, the KPIs, and allowing yourself to make decisions with logic. Feelings have very little to do in your business. Every decision you make should be based off simple KPIs and applying logic to them. So a KPI is a key performance indicator. It's something that you track in your business. So maybe it's you knock 20 doors, you get one estimate, and now you know if you knock 20 doors in the future, you're probably going to get one. So every 200 buildings you knock, you'll get 10. And that's a KPI you use to grow your business. It's the same thing for cleaning. You put a cleaner in, they get no complaints. Great. That's a KPI. You put a cleaner in, another cleaner in the building, and they're getting a complaint for every 10 cleans. It's a KPI that you would use to get rid of the cleaner. But most people would sit back and be like, oh, I really like this guy. They're trying really hard. I see them try to implement it, the stuff I'm doing. But the reality is maybe they just don't want to do it the way you want them to do it while you're not there. And because of that, they can't be there. You need people in your company, especially when you're hiring cleaners, that are good employees that can do the job without you being there. It's how you grow. So you would use the KPI for being like, hey, if you get a complaint and the building's cleaned 5 days a week, every 40 cleans, that is okay, or that is bad, whatever you want to use the KPI as. And then you would make decisions to terminate, retrain, put them on a PIP program, which is a performance improvement plan, whatever it is. And you use these numbers to make the decisions, so you actually get to take emotion out of it, because it's the emotion that makes you make the mistakes. You give one person a shot longer because you like them more. You terminate somebody because you don't like them, but maybe they were a good cleaner. So you need to be able to remove emotion from all your decision making and make it simply based off performance and metrics that you have. And it should always be done with logic. It's the same thing for growing a sales team. It's the same thing for cold calling and door knocking. People make 50 cold calls, they get yelled at 10 times, and they're like frustrated and upset with it. And they're like, no, I just can't do this anymore. So I would, instead of looking at it and being like, okay, I just made 50 phone calls. If I make 100, I'm going to get one estimate. And this is just part of the process of getting that one estimate. So you need to make sure that you're making decisions from data that you have, key performance indicators, and then applying logic to it. Emotion should have nothing to do with it. Okay, I hope you liked today's episode. If you would like a free 15-minute coaching, click my link in the description. I'll see if I can help you out. And if you want help more on a one-on-one basis for longer time, let me know and I'll see if there's something we can do. Again, guys, thank you very much and have a great day.